Hi, this is John Rowell for the Rowell Report. If you are ever a leader of a country and the future of your country, the lives of your citizens, the future of your cities, of your industries was on the line, do you think this would be a subject of laughter? Would you think this would be a subject to mock someone with whom you're trying to work? Would this be a would this lead to negotiations that were fraudulent, that were deceptive? This is the case of the Minsk Agreement. So we have a video here of December 2019. President Putin met with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine, Merkel of Germany, and Macron of France, and they tried to figure out the most peaceful way to resolve the conflict in the Donbas. So to give a quick history, in 2014 in Ukraine, there was a coup which was organized and controlled by the United States. There were recordings of U.S. officials discussing who would be the leaders of Ukraine. The U.S. had provided weapons to the rioters. They had organized how they would remove the democratically elected president of Ukraine. One day after there was an agreement signed for the democratically elected leader to be respected, to stay in power, and to resolve the issues. But in any case, all these agreements have led to deception of Russia. Here in December 2019, apparently there was a grueling 8-hour negotiations that took place. President Putin is exhausted. He's announcing the results, how peace can be maintained in the Donbas. At this point, Ukraine still had all of its territory minus Crimea, and had not lost many soldiers, had not lost many cities. So in comes President Zelenskyy, who is laughing, who is mocking, who is trying to ridicule this document that they spent hours negotiating and signing. Basically, neither Merkel nor Macron nor Zelenskyy had ever any intention of following through with the agreements made at this Minsk agreement signing in December 2019. And the result, of course, is what you already know. More than 1 million Ukrainian soldiers dead. Loss of territory, loss of income. Millions have left the country. More than 400,000 soldiers have abandoned their posts and fled to safety. Families in Ukraine who don't know where their sons or daughters are. Many factories have been destroyed. Many lives have been ruined. And so this is the result of when you're a leader and you don't take serious your obligations, nor the fact that your bad decisions could lead to the death of your citizens and loss of territory and the destruction of your economy. But anyway, that doesn't stop President Zelenskyy from laughing, from jeering. You can see here a little bit in this video. Hopefully we won't go to an ad when I try to run it. But anyway, I'm just going to focus on President Zelenskyy and his body language. So here we go.
With the implementation in Ukraine of the political reforms provided for by the Minsk agreements. First and foremost, this concerns the introduction of amendments to the country's constitution enshrining a special status for Donbas on a permanent basis. It is necessary.
So there he goes. He can't control himself enough to stop laughing, because what Ukraine was supposed to do from the Minsk agreement was to add an amendment to their constitution granting autonomy to the ethnic Russian areas of Ukraine so that they could speak their language, practice their faith, their religion. They could carry out their media and news in Russia, independent of a central Gestapo or propaganda ministry, and many more things were agreed. But anyway, President Zelenskyy, when President Putin is announcing that, can't control his laughter because he knows that this was never going to be the case, that Macron next to President Putin and Angela Merkel next to Zelenskyy were also fraudulent participants in this whole discussion, which they knew was a farce, in order to give Ukraine time to build their military, to strengthen their military capability, to continue to give training to their soldiers, and of course to prepare for what they already understood would be some sort of Russian response. But anyway, he can't control his laughter, and but now 6 years have gone by, from 2019 to 2025. More than 1 million Ukrainian soldiers dead. 400,000 have escaped the contact line to destination unknown. Millions have left the country. Their country's economy is in a shambles, and the future of their country is uncertain. Basically without youth, without men, just older people, women, of course, who could carry on the economy. But how are they going to build families with millions of Ukrainians dead, their industries ruined, their cities destroyed, their power structure in a shambles? So anyway, this is Zelenskyy. Look at him. He can't hold on any longer. It's so funny that all this was a deception, and how they worked together, Zelenskyy, Merkel, and Macron, to deceive President Putin, who sincerely wanted to find a peaceful settlement. At that point, Ukraine still had its territory minus Crimea. And so go 6 years in the future, and here we have Zelenskyy. He's in Berlin, and they're discussing possible options. Do you see him laughing? Do you see him twitching? Do you see him making funny faces? Is this now a matter of laughter? Does he think he can deceive President Putin? Does he think he can deceive Russia? So President Zelenskyy is now seeing the fact that he no longer has any ability to deceive Russia, to deceive President Putin. But even more, he's let his country down. So many are dead. There are Ukrainian cemeteries that have the military section are now full. They don't have any more room for dead Ukrainian soldiers, so they have to expand their cemeteries. They've been hiding the numbers of the losses, either casualties, people who've lost an arm or a leg, who are with prosthetics, who forever will be left with some terrible reminder of this conflict, and those dead. And there are also the families who don't know where their children are. They don't know if their child died in Bakhmut, or Vugledar or Avdivka or anywhere else, during these years of war. So this is not a laughing matter, but yet you go back here to this Minsk agreement 2019, total deception. Of course, I'm not too sure why President Putin didn't pick up on the signals that these guys were just playing him, and that this was a total conspiracy to give Ukraine time to build up its military strength, continue to bring in more military equipment, and they thought that if Russia was going to do anything militarily, Ukraine would be more than ready to push them back and out, and they would continue on carrying out their repression of the ethnic Russian population in Ukraine. So anyway, I don't think Zelenskyy is laughing anymore about this agreement. Maybe at the time he thought it was funny. Now, with over 1 million soldiers dead, millions departed the country, the economy in a shambles, I don't think he's laughing. But anyway, he seems to be kind of, I've heard that he, has some interesting habits, which in most places in the West would get you in jail because of use of illicit products to change one's state. But anyway, he just continues on. This is all about grift, about getting money. It doesn't matter to him how many soldiers are going to die. He doesn't want to come to any peace deal with Russia, and he still thinks that they can return back to this Minsk table where they deceive Russia. I think that's one reason why he always asked to negotiate directly with President Putin, because he thought, well, this time I can deceive him again like I did in Minsk. But anyway, I just thought that this whole laughter that he has is not comical at all, and it's a tragedy for Ukraine to have in 2019 the opportunity to have resolved this conflict without any additional war. But Ukraine, France and Germany were never serious, and today we have the results you're seeing on the battlefield. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We hope that this process will yield something in the future, but I really doubt when you're dealing with someone like President Zelenskyy, you will get anything that will work long term to fix this problem. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I wish you a very happy evening, and I'll be back again for more videos tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.